Welcome to the Rig on Wheels show featuring MVT, the show built for professional truck drivers, bringing you the latest insights, hot jobs, and tips to keep you moving forward. Powered by Mesilla Valley Transportation, the leaders in safety, fuel efficiency, and innovation, with over 1,600 trucks on the road. Let's hit the road together. This is the Rig on Wheels show featuring MVT.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We got Pearson right here in the studio.
Good to be back here in Houston. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We rolled out the red carpet for you and everything.
Yeah, the steaks being cooked in the front were fantastic. I don't think that's over the top at all.
No, not at all. Well, I am Camille E. Gaines. I'm the owner and host of the Rig on Wheels show. We are the #1 truck driver recruitment show, proudly featuring MVT. And like I said, as always, I am joined by Pearson, as we definitely like to call him, but his name is Robert Pearson. And he is the VP of recruiting over there at Mesilla Valley Transportation. So each week we bring you the latest topics on the industry news, hot jobs, industry tips, driver tips, recruitment tips. But today's hot topics are going to be about the TikTok ban and the California fires. Definitely, that is a lot. So let's definitely get ready to roll. I was going to say let's get ready to rumble, but that might be a different podcast. So for ours, let's get ready to roll. But before we get started, I want you guys to know, go ahead and click and subscribe to whatever you're listening to us on. So if you are listening to us on audio, iHeart, Spotify, whatever that is, go ahead and subscribe and follow there. On YouTube, definitely hit subscribe and follow and share if you're enjoying it. And make sure when you hit subscribe, hit the bell so you can get all of our updated YouTube videos. But when it comes to the TikTok ban, the Democratic Senator Ed Markey, I believe it's his name, he is the one that's really advocating out of Massachusetts for this extension. Because he said it's a lot of businesses that are advertising and he feel like it's done hastily. I don't know how hastily it is done. We've been hearing about it for a while, but I do feel that now that it's here, it just feels so surreal. Like, what are we going to do?
A lot of truckers utilize it on the road to communicate with people, to a larger audience, some going viral, others, quite frankly, just friends and family. TikTok is definitely a form of communication in the transportation industry. Now, the thing is I don't worry about TikTok because there's a bunch of others. And that's the thing is between WhatsApp, Facebook, and a whole bunch of other platforms that probably I'm even unaware of, drivers get the message out. With that said, we have a bunch of people, though, that use TikTok as their main format, and they communicate through it. We'll see how this plays out here. I know my wife's following it closely. A whole bunch of truckers are. I know at least a dozen people within MVT on the road that utilize it to communicate out how their day is going and what life's about as a driver. So I'm concerned about it more from a free speech standpoint. With it said, there should be a certain level of distrust with any platform that you use. You never want to take it as the gospel. I have no clue how this is going to play out here. And I think a lot of this, like we've talked about on several topics over the last 3 to 4 weeks, I feel like it's a lot of posturing. I'll believe it once I finally see it.
I always want to say, oh, no, they're not going to do something. But, I mean, since the pandemic, everything has been the opposite of what I think now anyway. But Ed Markey, that senator, is looking for 270 days of an extension. So about 9 months to give people a sure chance. And there has been a lot of people, or a few people with a lot of money that is trying to buy it. But his reasoning for the extension is for a comprehensive review. We'll have a new administration in there, so do that. So for additional bipartisan reviews, definitely for implication because they feel that it was a hasty ban. That will definitely do it. Like you said, a lot of drivers use it. We use it for the driver recruitment. A lot of people use it for brand engagement, industry storytelling. Now, we have come into a new world just in general when it comes to all industries. But because trucking is what we do, the way carriers are now needing to recruit their drivers is through storytelling, the background of things, how Royal comes out and actually does videos and talks about things and talks about how you should actually treat the truck. That's awesome because not all CEOs do that. And that is part of storytelling. That's part of building a picture in your mind as he's discussing things. So yes, TikTok is not the only medium. However, like Gary Vee said, it's TikTokification, right? So the way TikTok does their algorithm is different than any other medium out there.
It is. And I would agree, the soft sell, as a professional driver on the road, you've heard terms like open door policy, family-owned business, close-knit work environment or collaborative work environment. Those are very soft sells that if I put in an ad, don't mean anything. There's no context. And honestly, in the trucking industry, you have a bunch of carriers that put family-owned business or open door policy. Those two sayings in a traditional quote-unquote ad don't mean a thing. Because no carrier is going to go, hey, I'm a jerk. I want you to know that. So the hard part with social media is it allows you to take those things that are soft sells and put the context around it. So as an example, if you say I have an open door policy, but then you can show examples of that open door policy, that line in an ad now has meaning behind it. So it's one of the things to keep in mind, because you're right, from a marketing standpoint, those soft sell things that are not one line sentences, but really a story, get hard to convey in a job board, on Indeed, in a Craigslist postings. You can't share that in those things.
You can't. And I can tell you one thing, anybody in this industry that is in marketing and dealing with the digital marketing, we are rethinking our strategy. I mean, all the way down to tomorrow marks our 15-year birthday. And so we are planning our celebration at the end of the year, and we're going to have a YouTube and TikTok live. And I'm like, but what if we don't have a TikTok? You know what I mean? Like, so do I put that advertisement about TikTok out there, or do I not put that advertisement about TikTok out there? Like, that is something to think about when this time last year we weren't thinking about it.
Yep.
So it's just little things like that. So just think about the large aspect of us actually advertising and marketing to drivers for different jobs. That's huge as well.
Yeah.
Now, something that you were talking about. Now, creators and other businesses, yes, there are other platforms. You have YouTube for YouTube Shorts, because like Gary Vee says, a lot of these platforms are turning into things like TikTokification. That's his word, okay? But their algorithm doesn't work like TikTok, but they are doing things like that. Even LinkedIn is trying to do the same thing. But ones that are similar are the YouTube Shorts, the Instagram Reels, and now I just found out it's a Chinese app or platform called Red Note.
Yeah.
And I did not. You knew about this?
As of this morning, I know about this.
Okay.
Yeah, let me not claim to be an expertise on the subject.
And then it's something else I downloaded. I think it's Sky Blue Sky, or something like that. I connected our scheduler to it. I don't know anything about it. And Darcella has been ignoring it because she's like, God, no, let's not get on another platform. But I'm just, if we always want to stay abreast on everything,
Yep.
you know, is what it is. And I just hadn't had time to research it. But I know I want to research this red note. But heck, if we're leaving TikTok because it's in China, and now we have red note, which is in China, I was like, Americans, we just can't get enough.
Yeah, the hard part, and this is the thing with regulating both free speech as well as the internet. You know, a lot of people talk about the dawning of the internet back around 2000, 99, 2000. Part of why it succeeded was you couldn't regulate it because, quite frankly, most of Congress didn't know what it was. That's a lot of the same thing. And look, what the popular social media trend will be 5 years from now, you and I probably can't name what it's going to be. It might not even exist in general society at this moment. So this is the thing on TikTok. I think there are some valid concerns, but it's free speech. And when you try to regulate this stuff, let me ask you, I'll ask you this question. Do you think, as far as language or thought control, do you think 4chan or TikTok are more damaging?
What the heck is 4chan?
4chan has a lot of that stuff that would be viewed as hate speech on it. Now, there's some other stuff on it. But the stuff on 4chan, most people would be more offended by than anything with TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. So I mean, I would be more, if it's hate speech and stuff like that, I'm more offended. Social media, the algorithm represents who you are.
So the thing about it is that you're trying to catch up to something that you won't catch up to. It'd be like trying to get the guy on the corner that's yelling obscenities at people in traffic. You can't keep up and regulate it. Now, you may be offended by it. You may not like it. And decent society probably wouldn't like it. With that said, you won't be able to regulate this. So that's the thing, is why I'm saying it sucks in the short term. If TikTok goes away, it sucks in the short term from an advertising standpoint.
Yeah.
But you're not going to control anything. Like, there's nothing to control. This isn't a physical object. This isn't like producing widgets. It's free speech. I theoretically can, I don't know, get on any type of chat group or social media and post some pretty inflammatory things on a bunch of stuff that no one will be able to keep up with, because I could just keep jumping around from LinkedIn to, heck, MySpace still technically exists. So
and I heard that too. I couldn't even.
I think this is a lot of political posturing. I think it's scary because China's involved.
Yeah.
But my argument here is that it becomes an annoyance for advertisers and becomes a bit of a boonswoggle here, because we're going to move on to something else. I don't know what it will be. We'll have 3 months to adjust, and we'll adjust. I mean, Rig on Wheels is going to keep on going.
Yeah,
you're going to go, what are we going to do next?
Yeah, we'll definitely keep on rolling, that's for sure.
You won't have the answer today, but about a week later you would.
Yeah.
You'll come up with something.
Yeah,
like,
we'll figure it out.
Your 15 years have been coming up with something.
And, you know, one thing that everybody does talk about is the different speech and all of that. But the U.S. says that the potential of the data misuse is the issue. Even though the U.S., one would say, not me, would say that they misuse the data too. But it's the data misuse.
Let me ask you from a place of ignorance. I use Instagram. I don't use TikTok. But you utilize it, especially for Forgotten Wheels. You utilize TikTok. And MVT does extensively as well. Can you think of sensitive information that you provided to TikTok outside of your searches?
No, I can't. But they say once you download it to your phone, they have everything, as any, I guess, app does.
So in theory, I should be scared of Waze. You know, for maps, I should be scared of. I quite frankly, if you have an Apple or an Android, whoever the operator is of that phone, you should be terrified of.
Yeah, Facebook. I mean, we all know that if you think it, then the next thing you know, Facebook has it coming down your screen. So I personally think it's just a way of control, but I don't know. I think it's another way that the government is controlling us.
Oh, I do too. I just think that this is more political theater than anything else.
Mm.
I'm not. I just don't lose any sleep over it. It
Mhm.
stinks in the short term though, because like I said, we have a lot of truckers that use it from a
Yeah.
communication standpoint. And as you know this as well as anybody that deals with social media, you develop an audience. So when
Yeah.
you have to start from scratch, it doesn't mean that audience comes back or follows you.
Yeah.
You're starting literally from scratch. So you may find that next week, they ban TikTok, and a week later, okay, guys, we're going to do this with smoke signals.
Yeah.
Well, that audience from TikTok does not move over to your smoke signals. So that's the thing I worry about on it, but we'll see how this plays out. I will say this, I was surprised of the people looking at purchasing it. I think Kevin O'Leary's name came up from Shark Tank.
Yes, it did.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and I like that there are TikTok alternatives. I do think that if you have a business, that you definitely should not just be on one thing. That is putting all your eggs in one basket. If you're a truck driver and recruiter, your truck driver and recruitment shouldn't just be all in one basket, or anything like that. We know we use social media for it.
Oh, I can tell you in YouTube, the people that make their sole living off YouTube, that actually are able to quit their job and make a living, is 1/10 of 1% of all the YouTube channels. So it's a very small percentage that actually succeed with it. And you never know when YouTube might change their algorithms or for whatever reason not favorite you anymore in searches. And it would stink if that is your sole means of income.
Oh, goodness. Yes, absolutely. And I was talking to one of my nieces yesterday, and Facebook isn't her only means, but there was times that she was making $2,000 off of Facebook, and now it's down to 400.
So hopefully she's got something else going on.
Yeah, I mean, she has a job and things like that, but that's, we do want to say shout out to Josh. It looks like he is probably a driver, because we see a truck and some fire behind it right there, no pun intended, because the next hot topic is about the California fires.
That's a terrible segue.
Yes.
That is a terrible segue.
Yes. That was. That was probably like Joe Biden when he said fire away the Kamala.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, Joe, literally, Uncle Joe, like, what are you doing? But yeah, I guess I thought I was, some type of funny person. But anyway, but California is so sad what's going on over there in LA. Like, it's
when you combine the issues on getting home insurance there. And I think one of the things to keep in mind is when it comes to the Pacific Palisades, most people think, oh, it's rich people being hurt.
Yeah.
Though they are being hurt in this.
Yeah.
It's not all rich people.
No.
It's a combination that comes from multiple levels of society in terms of who's been damaged and hurt by this. And so I think we'll see how the political part of this plays out in the long run. I think that it probably ends up being a catalyst politically in California, where Democrats will still rule the states, but it will be a different form of a Democrat. But in the meantime, I want to keep in mind that it's not just rich people. There are people, they had an interview on, I think, the Today Show, where there's a lady that was just living out of her RV in Pacific Palisades. She is not rich, but all her stuff was flammable and it was gone. Yeah. She is not the person living in that $10 million home on the beachfront.
It was an elderly man that was 81, and he said everything he had is gone.
Yeah.
That he works for, and at that age, there's no way he can rebuild and rebound.
No, and so
not. It's literally it would be devastating for you and I, but twice our age, it's just horrific.
I will say this, when you add the Santa Ana winds to this, and this is the hard part here, that once the fire gets started, we can get into discussions about water availability and a whole bunch of other stuff. Once those winds get started, there's no stopping it. It's trying to contain it. For those drivers that have driven in the southwestern U.S., the average driver in this industry gets about 6.5 miles a gallon. I've known a lot of drivers that they ride those Santa Ana winds out of SoCal, going back to the state of Texas, and get 20, 30 miles per gallon. because those Santa Ana winds are strong, consistent when they get going this time of year. And so it's not just the dry conditions. When you get those kind of winds at that scale and level, it becomes a very dangerous situation. And now there's neighborhoods that are in peril. If you start looking, Brentwood's quite a distance from Pacific Palisades. It's not a quick walk. You got to drive. So it's starting to get into neighborhoods that traditionally would not fall in the line of fire.
So speaking of that, something that they did say is they believe that it's arson. Some folk are, that's sad. That's even sad.
Yeah, but so that's the thing. When they say arson, is it somebody putting out a cigarette, campfire? Because I promise you, not one person with a match can start 2,000 acres.
Yeah.
But what are they thinking from an arson standpoint?
I don't know. They've been saying a lot of things, but now it's over 23,000 acres and over 5,300 buildings. And so far, when I downloaded this, it's 24 deaths so far.
Yeah, and the thing to keep
75-mile-hour winds, 200,000 residents that are evacuated, and 84,000 that are being afraid.
What I can tell you right now, there's a niche of the trucking industry with the folks that do modular homes will most likely be going out to the West Coast. You'll see them a lot where FEMA institutes a state of emergency.
Yes.
And you see a lot of those folks that, pull stuff like Clayton Homes or travel trailers.
Yes.
That you'll start seeing making their way up to the West Coast, most likely get exempted from using logs because they have so much in order to operate. Yeah. So the West Coast, from a freight perspective, over the next 2 to 3 months, going to be wild to start out the year because there's going to be a lot of stuff that has to come in, both general commodities as well as stuff to repair and rebuild. That over the next 2 to 3 months to honestly 2 to 3 years will definitely influence the supply chain in that part of the country.
Kind of like it was on 95 with the
hurricanes.
Yeah, the hurricanes and the floods and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, the book of the Bible, Revelation. But it's really happening. But so we're talking about to 95 N95 mask and things like that because the air quality is so poor right now. I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, I was surprised. I got warned. I flew in and out of Phoenix yesterday. You could make out some of the smoke on the horizon. It wasn't enough that it impacted breathing in Phoenix, but you could see it as the sun was setting. You could see all the way in Phoenix there, a disruption and a haze over the horizon where the sun was setting.
Now, speaking of disruption, now, supply chain and trucking is still have to move and it's still 24/7 for obvious reasons, but also they have to get supplies and things like that in. So now we have I-10 and of course, and you're going to have I-5 that is messed up. So you're going to have a lot of route disruptions that are happening. Now, I know that MVT does a little bit in California, but let's pretend that you did a lot in California. How would a trucker deal with this? This is a lot happening.
Well, it's hitting an area that does not have a lot of manufacturing yet. The real issue right now is the smoke.
Okay.
So as an example, the NFL game between the Rams and the Vikings, they were concerned about that. The fire is nowhere near the area where a lot of freight comes in and out of outside of your general commodities going to a department store, as an example.
Okay. Good.
With that said, depending on the direction of those winds, though, you have to the south the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach. All it takes is a good southerly wind, and you get to a certain point where it's not safe to be outside and be in the wind. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things we'll have to watch here from a freight standpoint is short term what the smoke does. All it takes is a strong southerly wind to push that smoke down towards Long Beach and the Port of LA.
Yeah.
That you'll have some disruptions. We'll see how it plays out right now. I think short term you'll go into that. If there's a silver lining in this, it is a more affluent area that traditionally there's just not a lot of manufacturing in at this moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Not a lot of people, setting up in a warehouse in Malibu or Pacific Palisades to move freight out of. But with that said, we're all interconnected. So between the smoke, between having to make deliveries into the area. And as we talked about, as the rebuilding process starts, it's going to pull capacity into that area. So there will be an impact. But I think it's early on, but we'll find out in the 2 to 3 months what happens there.
Well, one thing I do want to say is people do not sell your property, because you can definitely get one of those Amazon houses and set up on your property. So do not let one of those investors come in and tell you to sell your property. Do not sell your property, folk.
Yeah, they just can't get insurance for that Amazon house.
No, I know, but don't sell your property. Just think for a second, because sometimes we do things so hastily.
I do wonder, because California's been losing population since 2019. What this does to population as far as driving it out, this is where I think the next 3 to 6 months are going to be really interesting, because a lot of the folks, not all the folks, but a lot of the folks are in a position that they can leave. So I'm curious, population-wise, how this impacts those areas.
They're going to be moving to Texas.
Texas or Nevada, I can tell you between 2019 to today, 150,000 people from California have moved to Nevada. So you've seen a big population spike in Reno and Las Vegas. California continues to be the biggest state as far as population moves into the state of Texas. Florida, Georgia, a lot of the film industry has left there in the last decade and moved to Georgia. So if you watch a lot of TV or any of the streaming services, you'll see a little emblem with the peach at the end of it, for Georgia, because a lot of the industry has moved to Atlanta and done filming.
Oh, wow.
The Walking Dead, a lot of reality shows now are filmed in Georgia. So it's going to be one of the things that's kind of interesting, because it will impact the film studios.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to impact. That's the thing. When all of these disasters happen, it impacts so much more than we even think about.
Everything's intertwined.
Yeah. Whew, it's just a lot. So let's go on to our regular topics. Let's talk diesel. So as of yesterday, on average, the diesel was $3.06. It's definitely increasing. It increased a little over 4 cents, 4.1 cents from the previous week. But to put things into perspective, guys, it is more than a quarter less than it was this time last year. So 26.1 cents than it was this time last year. Now, not enough to buy a quarter bag of chips, because a quarter bag of chips costs $4 now. I told my daughter that. But it is 26.1 cents less than it was last year. Now, we know everybody in trucking or in transportation doesn't need diesel. Some of you guys need gas. So the average gas price is $3.06 per gallon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that time where the projections are we'll have a couple more weeks of increases. Fuel is a fuel surcharges. If you get that, meaning if you're going with direct customers or a lagging indicator, it's time to slow down the truck, try to utilize your truck to get the best fuel economy possible on that end. It's nice when fuel prices are going down, because you can utilize that fuel surcharge to reap a couple extra pennies a mile. It's the exact opposite now. So realistically, if you're going 65 down the road, 62 starts to look a lot more attractive as you try to maximize the amount that you get out of your fuel. And we also have to play that mindset when we go in and we start discussing the rates that we're seeing in the spot market.
Yeah.
Most of those rates in the spot market are all in rates. So you have to take that increase in fuel into account as you look at those rates and judge, are those rates good or bad?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we're talking about rates, I think that's your area.
Yeah, I can tell you based off of what we saw over the last week here, this is week 53 of the year that we're looking at. Dry van sitting at $2.19, that's up 2 cents. That's the highest rate all year for week 53. Flatbed is down. That's sitting there at $2.21. Reefer big spike at 11 cents a mile, now sitting at $2.69. Total available loads this week went up 48%. Last week went down 50%. Of course, we had holidays impacting that. Available loads were down 3%. They were down 38% the week before. Available trucks were down 3%. So we're starting to see an increase in loads. People are slowly but surely starting to get things up and running. I can tell you the week of Christmas and New Year's having the holidays fall on a Wednesday did not help in terms of freight levels. With that said, though, the year's starting off positive. We have a lot of people, though, that in the industry are still sitting at the house and haven't really ended their holiday season yet, which is a shame because it appears that the freight tends to be available if you aggressively pursue it. Not all markets are looking the same right now. If you look at the DAT boards on a market-to-market or a region-to-region basis. With that said, it appears that the industry has livened up. This is the time that if you've taken that time off, it's time to get going. We need to get moving here. So it's not going to be necessarily like the fourth quarter of the year in terms of revenue to be made per truck. With that said, there's a lot of opportunities available.
Yeah, definitely. Flatbed hasn't been this low since July of 2020.
Yeah, and this traditionally, though, is the slower part of the year for flatbed, but it's surprisingly low at this moment. And so that's one of the things that we're going to watch closely here on the flatbed side. Dry van's doing well, and reefer's doing very
well. Yeah, reefer is doing very, very well right now. Well, everybody, just watch everything, diversify your portfolio. But just remember that the shipper is king. So you want to definitely recruit your best professional drivers and drivers. Make sure you show up as your best self.
I can tell you right now, the ability to show up on time is a valued commodity at this moment. Most of the changes that you're seeing where customers are changing carriers right now are based on performance, not necessarily price at this moment.
Yeah.
What it is if you have a high level of service on time percentage, you're most likely going to retain your customers. If you have a low level of service, you are becoming much more susceptible to losing a carrier or a shipper, excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is go to a quick commercial really quickly, a real quick commercial. Let's play the Anthony's commercial, and then when we get back, we'll just talk about our 15-year celebration.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Davis. I'm a truck driver from Cleveland, Texas. I've been driving for 3.5 years now. I recently saw a podcast with Rig on Wheels on YouTube. I gave them a call. They was fast. They was efficient. They helped me out. I didn't really want to be over the road, so they got me a good regional job. And hey, you should give them a call.
Okay, everybody. So welcome back. Tomorrow marks Rig on Wheels is 15 years. We are midway in our teenage years. We're giving our mother some trouble. But 15 years. So what we're going to do to mark our 15-year celebration is have a live on YouTube and TikTok. So this is the reason why they need to extend this ban, okay? But we're going to have lives on both of those channels on January 24th, which is a Friday. So it's going to be at noon Central Standard Time, and it's just going to be an hour. And we're going to have just an agenda going over everything and some nice giveaways that we're going to give everybody that is attending as well. But we just want to appreciate all of our partners, clients, drivers, just everybody that rooted for us throughout these years. It's been definitely a fun ride. That is for sure. So it is going to be on YouTube. We're going to put the link below once this is edited and not edited. We don't really edit it, but in a couple of days once we publish this on YouTube. And it'll be in the links in my bios and everything else, but I'll be also publishing it out on all of the social media platforms and everything, the link to it. And then it'll also be in a special publication on Friday. I don't want to tell you all about it yet, but on Tuesday of next week, I'll be able to brag about it. I'll tell Pearson on a commercial.
Where were you 15 years from now when this started? You were in Houston.
No, I was in Chicago,
Chicago?
in my living room. I started as a solo recruiter, and I was in Chicago in my living room.
Do you remember your first hire?
Yes, for CR England. She was a female, and she had just gotten out of school.
Nice.
Yes, I remember. I remember the commission amount too.
Well, that part's not the important part in this discussion.
That wasn't an important part, good, because it wasn't good. But that was a long. I guess it was good for then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was good for then. The recruiters now would laugh, but we listen. We don't judge. That's what the young people say now. We listen. We don't judge. That's not me because I listen and I judge. But no, it was for CR England. She was a lady, and this was 15 years ago. She had a couple of children. I remember all of that, and I was in my living room. It was great. That was my first hire. That's crazy. And because recruiting recent grads are not easy. A lot of people think that it is, but it's not, because typically they're so green that they don't know, and they listen to so many other people outside of the industry that they have an idea of the industry. But fun times, yeah. But anyway, that was my first recruit. It was a lady for CR England. That's who it was.
Do you remember her name?
No, I don't remember her name.
Because I'm just saying, after 15 years, that'd be kind of a cool thing if you could kind of piece together and go ahead, like to see where you're at. It's the fun part of this job is hiring drivers. Is there's a lot of people over the years that you remember, both good, bad, and different. Mm-hmm. One of my first hires was a lady named Jan Dar. Mm-hmm. She was out of Evansville, Indiana. She was really, really good, really professional. Hired her at a small company of 300 trucks. And a year later, she literally was in the top 1% of the fleet.
Oh, wow.
Was phenomenal at her job. She was my first hire. We'll never forget her. This would have been February of 2006. And she just was the consummate professional. Was good at everything that she did. Wow. And so it's one of those things. It's funny, the people you remember over the years. Because a lot of times, you think of this as a very short-term relationship with somebody. Theoretically, you may hire somebody in 2-3 days of talking to them. So it's a short-term relationship. So when you get to remember somebody that not only gets hired, but then you find out later exceeds succeeds over and over again, it's kind of rewarding and kind of, you know what, all right, I'm making a difference. This kid's good.
And you know their story, and you get to know why. And because obviously, she had kids and they were younger. So, she was doing a do-over. But I do remember she lived in Indiana. I remember all of that, that type of part. Yeah. So it was good. It was good. And Terrell has up there for everybody to definitely follow, subscribe, like, and comment, and share on YouTube for us. Yeah, that was some good times. But yeah, so it's only going to be 60 minutes long. I promise not to talk a lot. In fact, Raven is probably going to do majority of the talking because I will probably go over. And I want us to keep that 60 minutes because it is doing work times. But of course, it's going to be on YouTube or whatever. So it will be recorded and just on there. But I am so excited. I'm so excited for my team, for us to reach this milestone together. So exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Look, for folks that don't know, in the third-party world of this industry, there's a lot of people that come and go. Like, there's a lot of people that get the idea, I'll hire people on my own. I've heard a lot of people over the years make that comment. Yeah. And then they get into it, and I've seen about half of them drop out after about 30 days going, this is hard. And yeah, it is. Congratulations.
Yeah, it ain't easy, that's for sure.
And so the 15 years there between the drivers, the recruiters that you've worked with and all that stuff, 15 years is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've definitely had some fun. And just to think about it, I've been in Houston going on 11 years this year. And it's always so surprising to me that I've been doing Rig on Wheels, this business here, longer than in Chicago. That floors me every time I think about that. Like, how is that even possible?
Well, it makes me question when we talk about how you say El Paso's not really Texas. Oh, fairness, you've been here 11 years, so I'm just defending the people of El Paso. Just remember this conversation right now.
Yeah, El Paso. Like, they're in a whole different other time zone. They don't even want to be Texas.
Tejas, they call it Tejas.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
That's the same
Kind
thing.
of.
Tomato, 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 tomato. But speaking of, what I'm very passionate about is, because I've been in this industry for 15 years now. On Thursday, it'll be 15 plus years. You know, I'm a Virgo, so, but anyway, but 15 years now. So I'm very passionate in drivers and helping small carriers. I've had the pleasure of being around megas and mid-sized carriers. So I'm able to take the knowledge to smaller carriers, ones that want to grow, know more about recruitment, retention, and also owner operators that are ready to scale, or ones that are wanting to get into trucking. They're in trucking, but wanting to actually get into the entrepreneur side of things. So what we have going on is the Trucking Business Accelerator program. It is a 6-week intense group program, which will be held on starting in February, the end of February, February 19th. So it's best to sign up now because the spots are limited. So it's a 2 hours on Wednesday. So what happens is it's live, but it will be recorded for the ones that are not able on Wednesday evening to attend class. You'll get a free copy of the book, or it'll be a part of the program. And then you'll also have a workbook companion, and we'll work through different parts of everything from your retention, your recruitment, your safety, everything that typically are the loopholes that where small trucking companies fail at. Because small trucking companies really have a huge area of opportunity that the megas do not have. And I want to empower you guys and individually let you know what you can do, because each one has a different niche. So it's going to be down in the description, as well as everywhere on any platform that you'll be listening to. You will be able to see the advertisement for it. But go ahead and enroll. And the early bird special is to the 20th, but I might go ahead and extend that another 7 days. So you'll have that early bird special to the 27th. And then after that, it goes up to the regular price.
I'll say we talked about it a little bit last week on that end. You know, I had a chance to meet a lady that is a part owner of a 35 truck fleet out of Iowa last week. There's a lot of barriers as a smaller company. Absolutely. You don't have the same buying power as the big boys. There's certain customers that won't let you in the door because they're just thinking you're not at the size and scale that you're able to help that transportation manager. But there's also a lot of advantages if you reap the benefits of it, between relationships, understanding how to establish long-term employees, and a list of other things that I can't stress it enough. If you're at a smaller carrier, taking the chance to educate yourself, get as much information as possible, and just quite frankly, to be as savvy as possible will help you. If you are looking at yourself as a smaller carrier, be it you might be a single owner operator that has a couple trucks, or you may be one of the bigger small carriers at 50 trucks. Mm-hmm. If you can be savvy, if you can be intelligent, and you can make metric-based decisions, you have a fighting chance. The one thing that I will say, for all the barriers that you have, if you can reap benefits, if you can get to where you're making artful, articulate, and metric-driven decisions, there's a lot of opportunity, especially as we come out of the 2-year freight recession we've been in. If you can set yourself up in the best position to be successful, you need to do it now. Because if you wait 6 months, a year from now, when we're actually in the heat of a boom in the industry, it's too late. You didn't reap the benefits of it before it happened.
Yeah, so definitely you can look below in the link, and I'll put it on LinkedIn. I'll put it in, it's all on LinkedIn anyway, but I'll put it below in this link, the landing page, as well as YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere where this is being seen. That way you can go ahead and click on it, but you'll see it every day on the different platforms as well. So, but you can always give us a call or a text, and I will be able to send you the link as well, or go to our website. But you can give us a call at 281-968-3100, 281-968-3100, or give us a text at that same telephone number. All righty, so let's go ahead and go to commercial, and when we come back, we will talk about the hot jobs.
My name is Josue Fierro, and I am a recruiter, and I've been with Mesilla Valley going on 3 years now. Before I joined the Mesilla Valley Transportation family, I was at GCU as a loan officer. I feel that I acquired some skills there, providing customer service, learning, to listen to the customer, and learning patience. I think that helped me out right now where I'm at with Mesilla Valley Transportation, because I could actually apply those skills to what I do now, which is, helping drivers, getting them behind the wheel and getting them a job. So basically what I do here in recruiting, it's something good. We for sure give jobs to drivers, so it feels good, that we help people. Communication is great there in our department, from leadership to employees. We have a good working environment there, and it feels homey. Like, it feels like a home environment. It feels a family-oriented environment. So, yeah. Yes, I acquired skills here at Mesilla Valley Transportation. One of them would be knowledge of the transportation industry. I was not aware of the transportation. I was just more into financing, and I think it's good to know that transportation takes a big role in our country, and we do something good here. What made me apply at Mesilla Valley Transportation was basically word of mouth, the reputation that this company has. You see them everywhere on billboards, the trucks on the street, you hear them in the news ads. So you see Mesilla Valley Transportation everywhere, and you just hear from people here, local people, saying that Mesilla Valley is great, it's a great company to work for, and I was excited to join. My life changed when I joined Mesilla Valley Transportation in a big way. And one of them was them, of course, providing stability, giving me a peaceful state of mind, knowing that I could provide for my family, knowing that I could do what I do every single day without worries of, job security, in other words. And they actually helped me out a lot as well, as far as my daughter. She's 17. She wanted to get a first job in the summer. Marketing was able to go ahead and help me out, bring her in here as an internship over the summer, which she loved. She gained a lot of experience for her being her first job. Now she loves it. Now she wants to go to school for it and get a degree, so she's happy, and I'm happy. I would definitely recommend people to work here. Ever since I walked here the first day, it felt like a family-oriented work environment. Everyone's smiling, everyone's friendly, everyone talks to you like if they know you for years. So for sure, if I had to go ahead and tell someone, I would definitely recommend someone to work here at Mesilla Valley. My name's Josue Fierro. I'm a driver recruiter, and MVT changed my life.
That is my favorite internal recruiter, I must say. So let's go ahead and go to hot jobs, Terrell.
Absolutely. Let's start with Division 100. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Division 100, we have some openings here, about 10 to 15 openings on this specific division. Again, with any of our divisions, we don't require hazmat, tank, or any type of endorsements. It's all no-touch freight. This specific division, we go up to from El Paso up to the Midwest, occasionally hitting places like Albuquerque and DFW before we go up there. Normally start out the week with a nice 1,400-mile length of haul. Our average driver on this division is making about $1,450 to $1,540 per week. So a strong, steady paycheck, weekly home time. However, what I will point out with this division is if someone lives in El Paso and does have a passport, we do have opportunities for those individuals to go up to Toronto or to Montreal on a driver basis, be it solo or if it's teams, it's an extra $100 on those loads per driver. So an exciting division. 100's growing rapidly. A lot of opportunity there. Again, need about 10 to 15 people on Division 100. Good pay, weekly home time for those folks living in the El Paso area. Let's look at my favorite division, Division 329 up next. Division 329 is our Texas regional division. Occasionally, we will go into southern Oklahoma or southwest Louisiana. A lot of opportunities, and this is kind of the division we use as the farm system when we have dedicated opportunities come out of the state of Texas. I don't necessarily get to advertise those dedicated opportunities because we look to this division and say, hey, you've done a great job for us on Division 329. We have a new opportunity that's come up. Would you be interested in this division? So we're always looking for this division here, or for the most part, always looking for this division. You're never more than a day away from the house on this. A lot of drop and hook. That drop and hook's helpful with an average length of haul of 200 miles. You're doing a lot of bang, bang, bang every time you stop. We take solo drivers as well as teams on this division. The solo drivers averaging anywhere between $1,200 to $1,800 a week, depending on experience level. The team's averaging anywhere between $3,800 to $4,200 a week. Hiring actively out of the Houston, DFW, San Antonio, and Laredo marketplaces. For the most part, the orientation on this division is going to be based out of Laredo, Texas. Weekly home time. Again, a lot of drop and hook. No touch freight. We work with companies like Lowe's, Walmart, Hood, the Container Store, IKEA, Starbucks, just to name a few, and a few more coming on here over the next couple of months, which will continue to keep the approximately 120 drivers we have on this division absolutely busy over the next 12 months. And last but not least, let's look at Division 400. Division 400, if you live out of Memphis or Nashville, again, weekly home time, primarily running the southern Great Lakes states, southeast U.S., or along the Atlantic seaboard, averaging approximately $85,000 to $90,000 a year. Plus, there's a productivity bonus involved, ranging anywhere from 2 cents per mile to 5 cents per mile, depending on your safe driving miles in a month. So be sure to ask your recruiter about that. But we need about 10 individuals living out of Memphis or Nashville that can run these divisions for 400. Orientation on this division would be out of Nashville. With that said, that would be Division 100, 329, as well as 400. However, we have a lot of opportunities around the country. For MVT specifically, if you live in markets like Phoenix, Denver, Portland, Oregon, El Paso, Las Cruces, Albuquerque, DFW, San Antonio, Laredo, Houston, St. Louis, Louisville, Kentucky, Nashville, Memphis, Jacksonville, Florida, as an example. We have opportunities there. And then Camille and her team here at Rig on Wheels have about 40 other clients that hire from all over the country.
Yes.
So if I didn't talk about a market that intrigued you or that you live in, it's still worth making that call. And so, Terrell, if you can share that number on the screen so those folks can give that phone number a call. If you call 281-968-3100, 281-968-3100, or visit rigonwheels.com. Call about any of the opportunities that you saw on your screen here, or give a call and let one of the friendly recruiters talk to you about your next career endeavor.
Yeah, definitely. With MVT needing only 6 months experience with most of the jobs, that definitely opens up everything. Making sure that when you either are talking to the recruiters or filling out the applications, being as truthful as possible, because our job is to make sure that you're getting into the job of choice, the job that you're needing at the moment, and the job that you're deserving at the moment. So let's say that you're unable to get MVT for whatever the reason is, we'll definitely put up a plan for you and make sure that we put that in your notes. So as time goes on, what we're trying to do is get you to be able to get to MVT at X amount of time, whenever that is for you. So give us a call at 281-968-3100, 281-968-3100.
I think that's a really good point you mentioned on that. So if you call up Jim Bob at XYZ Trucking, their job is literally to either qualify you, DQ you, and move on. Like they have to. They have a bunch of other people to talk to, and they're hiring for that one company. Where when you deal with Rig on Wheels, theoretically, you may find 5 carriers that just fit what this is. And hey, great. We can talk about these 5 carriers and what one fits you best. Or let's talk about it. Maybe you have something in your background that might DQ you from this place, but not this place.
Right.
It is a bit of a different experience. And so it's one of the things that you look at it. The average driver, when they go into the workforce, talks to 8.3 recruiters. So there's 8 or 9 recruiters that they're talking to. Average phone call is about 15 minutes a piece. When you add the 3 to 4 other calls beyond that to take place, it takes the average driver about 12 to 16 hours of work to find their next job. That's a lot of work on top of trying to figure out, okay, what is it that I want to find? You also have to go through and have a lot of conversations that are going to lead to nowhere.
Yeah.
Where on the flip side with this, you can talk to Raven or Nimmer or any of the folks on your team and literally have that conversation of, I have this, this, and this. I'm looking for this, this, and this. They may have some additional questions, and then they're able to come back to you and go, I have 1 opportunity. I have 3 opportunities. So let's break these down and see which one fits best for you. You end up having 1 call replace about 40.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely a time saver.
It is.
It makes life more efficient is the word for it. So enough of this segment. What we want to do is show you Joe. I want us to look at the Blue Beast. It is a beautiful truck, and Joe is a tall human. So I like him, the way he explains the truck so well. So Terrell, if you would definitely put on that commercial, that would be great for us.
At Mesilla Valley Transportation, every driver is behind the wheel of a late model International LT, a truck that takes comfort, convenience, and safety to a whole new level. Join us as we explore the impressive features of this powerhouse on wheels. The open road is full of surprises, and sometimes that includes unexpected encounters with wildlife. But worry not, the International LT has you covered. The front end protection guard offers an extra layer of defense, protecting you from animal strikes. Drive with confidence, knowing that you're shielded from the unexpected. We all know how important it is to keep our batteries charged, and our International LTs have your back. The Cummins X15 is equipped with an auto start feature, ensuring that your batteries are automatically recharged when they run low on volts. It's a seamless process that keeps you powered up and ready to hit the road. Disc brakes and an engine brake provide reliable and safe stopping power when you need it most. You can have peace of mind knowing that you're in control. Safety is at the forefront of what we do. Our International LTs are equipped with top-of-the-line safety features to ensure your well-being while out on the road. These tractors are equipped with Bendix fusion protection, collision mitigation, and lane departure warning. Achieving good fuel efficiency deserves recognition. With the International LT, your efforts don't go unnoticed. When you consistently achieve impressive miles per gallon, the International LT rewards you with increased speed. It's a little extra motivation to keep you pushing for better fuel economy. After a long drive, you're ready for a well-deserved break. With the International LT, you can enjoy your rest period in absolute comfort. Thanks to its auxiliary power unit, you can keep the driver's cabin heated or cooled just the way you like it. No matter the weather outside, you'll always find your sweet spot within our International LTs. The International LT understands that comfort extends beyond driving. It's a space where you can truly feel at home. I'm a big guy, and I have room to move around in here. With plenty of room to spare, the International LT accommodates even the tallest drivers. And there's ample storage for all your clothes, cooking essentials, and tools, making life on the road even more convenient. Speaking of cooking, bring along your appliances and don't sacrifice any luxuries thanks to all of our International LTs being equipped with built-in inverters. Dry your hair, make a smoothie, or play a game, all from the comfort of your truck. We take pride in our well-maintained fleet. And if by chance you do come across something wrong on your truck, you're never far from help thanks to our valuable relationship with Penske. With more than 750 brick and mortar Penske shops nationwide, their expert team is always ready to assist you. From routine maintenance to unexpected repairs, they'll get you taken care of and back on the road in no time. And there you have it. Just a few things about this late model International LT that make MVT the place to be.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, I really like that truck because a lot of times, Face on the road calendar fail.
I will tell you this: the calendar's well built. I'll pull it up.
Okay, so but I really like. Oh, that's the old one.
It is. I'll get the new one.
Okay, but I really like the Blue Beast because it has a lot of room in it. A lot of times the drivers, you hear them complaining that it's not a lot of room in the trucks. Well, the MVT trucks are built for teams, even though majority of the drivers are solo.
Yep.
So that's huge. That's great. I love that because drivers aren't small anymore.
No. I grew up in a Kenworth household. So my grandfather was an owner-operator 54 years. Grew up in a KW household. I love our trucks. They're spacious. They're adaptable. The grill guard on the front's fantastic, especially when it comes to animal strikes. The APU unit gives a lot of versatilities in terms of the plug-ins in there. They do well from an economy standpoint, and our drivers rate our equipment very, very high. When we go through, and we are not afraid to say, hey, our baby's ugly. We want to know what our drivers think. The equipment tends to rank very high on that end. We have a great relationship with Penske. So if, God forbid, if anything ever goes wrong with the truck, we have a backup plan to the backup plan. So you will always have a truck available to you. Even when our trucks are completely 100% filled, which on Friday of every week, they are 100% filled. What ends up happening is, let's say a truck goes down or it needs a repair. We always have a sub, same spec, model, everything that's available to us so that you continue to go down the road in the same type of truck.
I like the plan for the plan for the plan.
Yeah, you need to have it. This is trucking. Nothing's predictable.
Nope. The one thing we know is a truck will break down eventually.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. So, because the calendar wanted to say something, Facing on the Road is out. Of course, what I'm going to do is make some digital ones where you'll be able to purchase at whatever price you want. I must be feeling special for 2025. New me, new, well, how does it go? New me, new something. But you know what? Terrell, go ahead. And January is sponsored by MVT.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's so nice. You know what? Why don't we do this? We want everybody to be safe and sound and everything. Terrell has a slideshow. Terrell, go ahead and do the slideshow that will take us out, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday of next week. That way you can actually see every page very well.
I want to say this, Darcella, Nimmer, everybody on the Rig on Wheels team, congratulations on 15 years. Congratulations to Camille here. But I know it's a team effort. You got a lot of good folks on that end. Rig on Wheels is a valuable partner with Mesilla Valley Transportation. Always brings us really great drivers. Very thankful for the relationship to Camille and her entire team. Kudos on 15 years.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.